One of the biggest problems or questions that I had when I was starting out was just trying to get a handle on how the notes are laid out on the guitar. On the piano, notes are laid out in a nice straight line for you, C, and then eventually you get to another C, you get to another C. It's pretty straightforward. On the guitar, it's not straightforward at all. We've got these 6 strings, and each one's got a different sequence of notes. The 6th string and the 1st string are both E's, so that is one pattern where you're going to have the same notes on those 2 strings, but you need some way to get a handle on, for instance, how to find all the G notes on the guitar. So I'm going to show you the method that I kind of came upon by myself, and I've seen it in some books since then. I call it the Hopscotch method. And what you're going to do is you're going to be kind of hopping all over the neck with your fingers, like the fretboard is a hopscotch pattern and you're jumping in and out of it. So let's just get started. We're going to pick a note on the 6th string. This string's going to be F. This note's going to be F rather. Okay? So 1st fret, 6th string, using my 1st finger. Alright? That's the lowest F we can play on the guitar. The next F is an octave above it, and you play it with your 3rd finger. It's on the 3rd fret of the 4th string. So that's an octave above this F. So that gives us an F, a low F, and call it a middle F. Okay, one way I use to remember this is that you're starting on the 1st fret of the 6th string, you're skipping a string. So you're skipping the 5th string to the 4th string, and then you're skipping up a fret. So it's kind of skip a string, skip a fret, and that lands you 3rd finger, 3rd fret, 4th string. And here's where you want to do some hopscotching. You just want to get the feel of this in your fingers. 1st finger, 3rd finger, 1st finger, 3rd finger. And you would not believe how often that motion occurs in scales, in arpeggios, and just in playing in general. So you're trying to program your fingers and your mind to know where those notes are, in this case, where the F notes are. Okay, now I said before that we have the same notes on the 6th string and the 1st string. That means the 1st fret 1st string is also an F. We'll call that high F. So we've got, and then you hopscotch. So 1st finger, 3rd finger, 1st finger. 1st finger, 1st fret, 6th string. 3rd finger, 3rd fret, 4th string. 1st finger, 1st fret, 1st string. You can go back and forth. Okay, so that's your first hopscotch pattern. Now where this becomes powerful is when we abstract it and realize that any note on the 6th string follows that pattern. So here's a B note, 7th fret, 6th string. Just got to follow the same pattern. Skip a string, skip a fret. That's going to put your 3rd finger on the 9th fret, 4th string. Okay, there's 2 B notes, a low B note and a middle B note. And then just run that 1st finger over to the 7th fret, 1st string. There's your high B. So okay? So you can play this on any fret. You can pick any note on the 6th string. Okay? And find 2 more notes. You're going to be spanning 2 octaves. From here to here is an octave. From here to here is an octave. And you want to do that until that's just automatic. And you can kind of rest on the 6th string and just find those other 2 notes. That's your first hopscotch pattern. You might want to stop the video here and just practice that. I'm going to go on to the next one. We're going to go staying in the key of F. We're going to go back. Here's our first pattern. Now here's the next concept. You're going to move up the neck, and the note that was being played with your 3rd finger, you're going to play the same note but with your 1st finger. All these patterns overlap. So we're moving from this pattern, like that, sorry. Now 1st finger, 4th string, 3rd fret. Okay, this one you skip a string going up, so you're going to skip to the 2nd string. You skip 2 frets up the neck, so your pinky is going to play 6th fret second string. So it looks like this. And it feels different and it looks different. You're traveling further. Okay, that's your second hopscotch pattern. And that one you can move anywhere. So here's 7th fret, 4th string. I'm going to skip a string, skip up 2 frets. Puts me on the 10th fret of the 2nd string. And obviously one way to practice these patterns is to start on a note and go, and then move up a fret. Just move up and down like that. Practice that one. And we'll stop here for a minute. We've made it all the way up to the 6th fret already with 2 of these hopscotch patterns. We're exactly halfway up the neck to the 12th fret. One other thing to look at here. We've got 2 patterns, but we've actually only got 3 notes, because this is an octave, and then this is an octave. This note starts on the same note that this pattern starts on the same note we were playing with the 3rd finger, just a different fingering. And this note you're playing with your pinky on the 2nd string is the same note you're playing on the 1st string with your 1st finger. So we actually have these 2 notes, and then we have 2 options to go up the neck to this note or to go to that. So at the risk of confusing you, there's one other hopscotch pattern hidden in here which is a combination of the 2, where you can go like this. 1st finger on the 1st fret 6th string, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 4th string, and then pinky on the 2nd string, 6th fret. But to be honest, you probably want to change the fingering to a 2nd finger on that 4th string. So real slow it goes. 1st finger, 2nd finger, pinky. And that is teaching you a very important diagonal. We have 2 of these diagonals that cover about 6 frets. One starts on the 6th string and goes up to the 2nd string. The other one's going to start on the 5th string. We'll see that in a little bit, and it's going to go up to the 1st string. Okay, I'm going to review real quick. Here we are. We're going to do the same system, which is that the note we're playing with our pinky is now going to play with the 1st finger, sorry. Like I said, all these patterns overlap. So now we're playing 6th fret, 2nd string, 1st finger. Got really nowhere to go in terms of upper strings. So we're actually going to reverse direction. You're going to go back 2 strings and up a fret. So now you've got a 3rd finger on the 8th fret, 5th string. And that should be a very familiar feeling. It's same finger position that your 1st and 3rd finger are in for a C chord. Alright. Okay, that's our 3rd hopscotch pattern. Going to keep going up the neck. We're going to swap our 3rd finger for our 1st finger. So we're going to play 8th fret, 5th string with your 1st finger. This is the same shape that you started out with way down at the 1st fret. You're going to skip a string, skip a fret, and your 3rd finger is going to end up on the 10th fret of the 3rd string. Okay, so that is hopscotch pattern number 4. Real quick, here we go. 1st pattern. 2nd pattern. 3rd pattern. 4th pattern. Okay, and then you've probably guessed we're going to move on up, swap out our 3rd finger for our 1st finger, so our 1st finger is playing the F note on the 10th fret of the 3rd string. And this is our last pattern. It's kind of a triangular pattern. You're going to skip 2 frets and 2 strings so that your pinky is going to play the 13th fret of the 6th string. And as you know, same notes on the 6th string and the 1st string, so you're also going to play the 13th fret of the 1st string with your pinky. So that looks like this. 13th fret, 6th string with the pinky, 10th fret, 3rd string with the 1st finger, 13th fret, 1st string of the pinky. So it's a triangular shape. Some pretty big skips there, so that one takes a little bit of work. Okay, we're running out of neck here before we run to the guitar, especially since I'm playing acoustic. I'm going to run into the body of the guitar. But I've got just enough room to play my original pattern again. So that's just this pattern. 12 frets up. Okay, so one more time. Here are your hopscotch patterns, all the way up the neck. Okay? You can play each one once. You can really play them in any pattern you want, but the whole idea is just get very comfortable with them. This is sort of the skeleton for an awful lot of guitar playing. If your fingers get used to this, and if your mind is sort of programmed with where these notes are in relation to each other, this is pretty much a huge help when you're soloing, when you're trying to find chord shapes. We'll talk about how chord shapes are built on these. A lot of people call these octave patterns because we're just doing nothing but octaves. Same note, different octaves. Let's talk about one more thing. I told you about this diagonal. That's first finger, second finger, pinky. Okay, there's another one that starts on, in this case, it starts on the 8th fret. Okay. First finger, 8th fret, 5th string. Second finger, 3rd string, 10th fret, 2nd finger. And then 1st string, 13th fret, pinky. So, okay, so starting down here I go, and that takes me to the 6th fret. Then I skip a fret and I find myself on the 8th fret. So there are two large diagonals that cover 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frets, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frets. Two 6-fret patterns, hopscotch patterns, that are kind of the big picture versions of the smaller ones. That gives you, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hopscotch patterns to get under your fingers, and see how those goes. I want to spend a couple months on these, honestly, just when you warm up and when you're tired of practicing other things. And I think you'll see that they really help pull the guitar together for you. And I hope that helps you.